psychology.
Okay.
And, you know,
Well, he's
done
doing
the same
AP
period.
Psych right now.
Oh, then he wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Microbiology.
Okay, so those are going to be like semester-long classes.
Yeah, it's hard. I know it's not the right, but pretty much every course up here is semester long, with
Okay.
the exception of physics.
Okay.
And these are all year long.
Yes.
All right, so he could do like civics and then sociology, and that would be the extra science environment and.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is civics only?
No.
So it's offered as a year-long course?
Yes.
And
Yes. Civics is also offered as a year long course, and American 1 is offered as a year long course, and American 2 is offered as a year long course. It exists as a semester course for some of our more accelerated students, honors level students who want that extra challenge. Go ahead, man.
So I'm a freshman in math, so forgive me. The AP and the SPCC courses, can sophomores take those?
I don't know that a sophomore can do SPCC.
So with the Career and College Promise Program, the college transfer courses begin junior year. So it's open to juniors and seniors. Now, in the career technical education area, there might be some options for sophomores. But
I can tell you with the number of requirements or credits they have to earn them, there isn't much freedom for them to do that as a sophomore. AP courses, if they didn't take AP World, that's not, oh, these are just science. If they didn't take AP World, you can take that as a freshman.
I guess my son's in math 3 as a freshman,
Okay,
so I guess I'm trying to understand that path. He's a math scientist, so.
okay. Next year, he'll take pre-calculus as a math course, and then so that's his sophomore year. His junior year, he'll be in AP calculus. He can take AP biology his junior year,
or senior.
junior, senior year. I'm trying to think. AP environmental science is something he could probably take his sophomore year. We'd probably, if he's already taken biology.
He's taking the honors for science this year.
Okay. He'll need to do biology though, probably next year.
Yeah.
So I don't,
I'll say okay.
I mean, meet with your counselor, but just a brief hashing that out, it doesn't sound like there's an AP opportunity available sophomore year, but when he hits junior year, hope.
let me share something if I could. I'm in Raleigh a lot. Charter schools, I want you to remember through this or anything, talking about your individual child, anything along those lines on either end of the spectrum. Charter schools were invented or welcomed into the state of North Carolina to be different, to try pilot studies, to do different opportunities and things that the traditional schools are not doing. Our current state superintendent, Mark Johnson, has spoken to me personally and said, Ann, I need you at your charter school, because you're a very large charter school for the state of North Carolina, to try different things. His terminology was, hey, I got you back if it fails. It's fine if it fails. But we need our charter schools for our whole state trying new things. So it's almost as a guinea pig, because he said, my ship is huge. He said, by the time I steered the whole state ship in one direction, it's hard to turn it around. We need our charter schools trying different things, like our internship program we're doing right now before the whole state does. So that's why charter schools are here with the opportunity. Mr. Zorn said just a minute ago, if that would have happened, I would have backed up and punted. It's okay. We will start down one avenue and things will change and see what we need to do. And that's what's going to happen for our kids. Yeah, our kids, I guarantee you, everybody in this room at some point has said to their kid, get off of that cell phone and look up. Well, y'all, my mother's parents told her to get her head out of that book and look up. And now we would give anything for our kid to look in a book. So things and times change. We have to, as adults, accept these and what's happening. I mean, I don't have a computer. This is my computer. This is my everything. And when you want something to say, I read it off of this. So just know that, and we are preparing our kids for jobs that don't even exist. We don't even know that we need them yet. But that's what we're trying to prepare our kids for. So we will, and I continue to challenge Mr. Zorn and our middle school principals and all of them to let's get outside the box. What's working? And because we're here and with the online courses, we have the opportunity to specifically do what's best for your child and your child and your child. It's not a one model fits all here. And so if your kid needs, somebody can tell you, my kids went to Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. And my oldest son is academically gifted. My youngest, I'm just not gonna say anything, but my oldest is academically gifted, and I challenged CMS to give him AP classes as a freshman. They didn't want to because it's not standard of what they do. So along those lines, and this was several years ago, but that's what here we want. We want to do what's best for your individual child. And if it means in 8th grade, we need to get them in some type of class at SPCC in 8th grade, my job is to get them in that class or something comparable in 8th grade. So just know that, and that's what this, and Ms. Silvestri and Ms. Hammonds, our counselors for high school, will continue to work in that route. So challenge us to continue to challenge your kids. I just wanted to share that.
Appreciate it, thank you. Are there any questions online that need to be answered?
No, sir.
So these are the science classes up there, they're all semester classes, is that what it says?
These here are year-long.
Yeah, I think it, yeah, unless otherwise.
This one's year-long. These are through SPCC, so it could be either one. And then all these are semesters.
Physical science used to be one of the state requirements. And that's why I was wondering how that became a semester long. Because it was, used to be earth environmental, biology,
That's
and
not-
a physical science. It's either physical science, chemistry, or physics, was your third state required.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a year-long class. Thanks for pointing that out.
I was just confused, like, what?
Former chemistry.
Physical science is last
Sorry.
See what happens when you take an extra science class?
I see this.
So if they take the physics in SPCC in lieu of AP physics
Mhm.
here, that'll still count as their core science?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Mr. Zorn, will you speak how their calendar, SBCC and AP online doesn't match up with ours or anybody's? Will you speak to that, because there's some people here that probably don't know it.
Well, I'll do SPCC first, because that one's actually they're very accommodating. They follow their college schedule. They don't follow our schedule. And so their class might start earlier than ours or end earlier than ours. You know, it doesn't, they're not going to meet every day. Very rarely will they meet every day. But I can say that since we started our partnership with them, they are very accommodating. For example, you know, we have a fall break. They're not on fall break, and they kind of work with us in terms of making sure that the kids, you know, are getting the seat hours they need and different things like that. They have even, if we have a large enough interest for a particular thing, they have even built a schedule just for us. So that our kids can take advantage of taking the classes over there. They'll change their class start time and end time so that a kid can start their day there and finish in time to get here for second period or third period, depending on how many credit hours they're taking and things like that. So SPCC has been great to work with for us. And then NCVPS, the online classes, as you guys know, we're on a modified year-round calendar, and we start and end our school year differently than the rest of the state. Well, the NCVPS classes follow the state calendar. And so what happens is our students actually start the year, and if they're in an online class, they actually come here for a couple weeks before that class even starts. And they have early start classes, which takes care of that, but not all of them are offered early start. And so sometimes a kid might finish our semester here on campus, but their online class extends into the next couple weeks of the new calendar year. And we work with it. We figure out ways, we're flexible. We just had students in the NPR last week on Tuesday, I think. everyone else is in class taking their second semester or the rest of the year-long class here on campus, and we had to pull those kids out to take their final exam from the online class that carried over into the next semester. But we make it work. Anything else?
We
Yes,
did that
ma'am.
this year with 2 classes with Christopher's question and it worked out well.
Mhm.
It really wasn't a problem. Because it's online,
Right.
so it's flexible,
Very flexible.
so they can work at their own pace.
We, I don't want to leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth about online classes. We love that online classes are available to our students. Personally, what I don't love is when kids are trying or wanting to take online classes for the courses we already have here on our campus. That's where it becomes an issue for me. If the only way to get them that class is to do it online because of scheduling conflicts, that's fine. But when I have a fantastic American One history teacher, and 12 kids are sitting in his class instead of 22 because 10 of them are taking it online, then I don't like that.
And why do you let it happen? Deny them.
Well, we did. We did. The year it got, we got a little overwhelmed with it. Kids are very savvy. And what I mean by that is the criteria I laid out was you cannot take this class online unless there's a reason you're taking it online because you need to fit something else in your schedule. So that's what they did. They said, yes, my reason is I need to take this online and this online because I want this in my schedule. And so we said, okay. Whether or not they really, really wanted this in their schedule, I don't know. But it allowed them to take the 2 semesters of history like they wanted to. And it only happened for 1 year, and we caught on and fixed it.
What happens if you say, we offer the course and here with the teacher, you cannot take that course online unless there's extenuating circumstances?
That's exactly what we say. Almost word for word. And it requires principal approval.
I'd like to share just 3 little things I was thinking about. Parents, right now, we have a large amount of kids that parents sign out, or their kids tell us their parents sign them out for lunch. I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing legally we cannot not let them. If parents give them a note, if they forge a note and tell us it's from the parents, we don't know your handwriting to know if it's forged. If they know your email password, get in and send us an email, it's the same thing as a note. That's gotta stop, I'm telling you. Our kids, we have like 25 minutes for lunch. Our kids, I see a teacher back here going, yes, please stop it. Our kids are rushing to get to wherever, pick up lunch, come back, cross railroad tracks, everything in the world to do this. As a school, we've done everything we can to stop it. You can't eat in the classroom. So now what does that make them do? Eat on the way back here. Somebody's gonna get killed, plain, end of story. Let's don't stop it after somebody dies. Parents, spread the word and quit letting the kids leave for lunch. It's that simple. Lord, we're the only school in Union County that has a catered lunch, only public school. So they get Chick-fil-A, they get pizza, they get this. They're not eating off those little trays with green beans from, never mind.
Yeah.
Just know that. The lottery's open. Y'all help us get the kids you want sitting beside your kid in class. Get out, tell your neighbors, tell your friends and everybody that our lottery's open. Y'all can help us know who's gonna be sitting with your kid. So do that if you would. And then another thing, Mr. Zorn didn't touch on this, but we do offer, and we'll have more discussions on what and how and when. But we've even had staff and students that I've spoken to that would love more 0 period opportunities, meaning 7 to 8 a.m. Now, sometimes that's a challenge to get staff to teach it. But if they do that, pick up an extra classes, an extra supplement to them, or they get to leave earlier in the day. There are kids that help work and help support their household, or know they're going to pay for college. That would give them a great opportunity. So we'll continue to offer some classes like that. Typically, right now, it's like a weight training class or something that they want to take weight training but can't get in there. And then also know how many students, if there was an elective class that our students felt like had to come bring it to Union Academy, and they wanted to start a ballet class at Union Academy. You got to remember, for us to recruit a ballet teacher, we need to fill them. If they're gonna be a full-time employee, we gotta fill a whole class. We're not gonna fill 5 full classes of ballet at Union Academy, so it's not gonna happen. But we can go out in our community and get a ballet teacher to come in and teach 1 class. That's how SPCC creates a lot of their classes. How many people does it take, Mr. Zorn, for us to seriously look into an elective start?
How many kids all day are per period? Like,
Per period.
we do like 12. A minimum of 12 per period.
So if your child would like a class, somebody brought to me yesterday ballet. If somebody would like something like that, 12 peers in them, and we see it fits in their schedule, we will do the legwork at that time to try to bring that class to our campus. Also, the next thing he mentioned, internships. Y'all can change a lot. I tell a story all the time. We talk about internships and offer that we want. There's a female student that is not here right, not in the room, but not at UAE. She graduated, wanted to be a nurse. Whole life wanted to be a nurse, wanted to be a nurse, wanted to be a nurse. We started our internship program. She went to her first clinical. Is that what I call it, Miss Fisher? Her first clinical. It was going great. She loved it. About 2 weeks in, they drew blood. She hit the floor. Boom, passed out. Guess what? Her parents now, she's not going to be a nurse. Her parents now have saved thousands of dollars not sending her down that direction. We were able to offer that here. Her parents like, there's no way she's still got to do nursing Alicia. She's not going to do it. So along those lines, talk to people. You have careers and things in your own life that you know or friends that do it that would allow our students to come in and do an internship at a bank, at a law office, at a accounting firm, or a chemist in a chemist in a lab. Thank you. I couldn't think of it. So just know that and help us with that. Anybody have any other questions?
I'm sorry, I'm full of questions. I don't need to think about this meeting. Are there going to be any plans at all to offer other languages besides Spanish to high school, or is that still just going to be?
Currently, we offer French, Chinese, Mandarin, Russian, sign language, and probably a few more online.
Online, yeah. My son's at Latin online.
Yes.
But my daughter wants to take French.
Yeah, and that falls into actually exactly what Dr. Walters just said, is for us to have a French teacher here, then we would need to have 12 times 5 is a minimum of 60 kids that wanted to take French every year. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if a student's taking an online course, right, or French, Spanish, or Mandarin, whatever, is there a cost to the parents for that, or is that for the school?
The only time there is a cost to a parent for an online course is when they expand their horizons outside of what North Carolina Virtual Public Schools typically offers. If someone comes to us and finds a course outside the box, I'll call it, and we'll look at it, make sure it would meet the requirements that we would want for it to count as a credit. And then there's a dollar amount, I can't quote it right now, but if that course is within the same dollar amount as an NCVPS course, then there wouldn't be a cost. If it exceeds that dollar amount, then we do pass the additional cost on to the parent, or the parent.
But
We
there
want
are,
to send the whole thing to the parent, I'll be honest with you, because the school board won't quite let us do that yet. But it is expensive for our school, but it's that important.
Right? I think there's a sign language course that a student's currently taking, or a couple of students have taken, that the family had to come up with some of the cost of that.
and there are options, so whether or not it's renting, used, there are options.
Feel hard to get fun.
Mhm.
Something like that over the
And by the way, anything that a student takes through SPCC, I'm going to say this wrong. The course itself is to no charge to the family. The state covers that. Where you do incur costs, though, is when you for some of those courses where you have to pay for their textbooks. Did I say that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And again, there are options.
And the logic behind that is Union Academy really can't foot the bill for a textbook that only one kid is going to use 1 year, and then we never have another use for it again. So it's kind of like, that's what happens when you go to college. So while you're here getting a free college class, you might have to buy the book to do it, if they require a book. But some of them don't require a book.
Any other questions? Yes.
Standards-based grade. Going forward, are we still have numerical grades like we currently do now?
I'm curious why you're asking that question.
Because
before I
I've
answer.
heard different rumblings going around. I just want to make sure, a 95, we're still going to be having a 95, or we're going to have, just an A.
Here's how I will-
we're gonna fail.
This is the best answer I can give you to that question. Standards-based grading is a very intriguing thing. We are studying what it would look like and what it would be like. We are nowhere near at a point where we would transition to doing that,
Okay.
like this.
That's why my concern is, like, my daughter's going to be a freshman next year.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, a couple of years down the road, we're going to switch to a whole new scale, and how that would impact her getting to her
Yeah.
college choice.
That is a whole another meeting.
And along that lines, before we're ready to have that meeting,
Okay.
myself and our team, we have a lot more homework to do.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah, a lot of studying, a lot of, now, I can tell you this. I would not be shocked, you should not be shocked, if somewhere along the way in the next near future, we pilot a couple things.
Okay.
To see what it looks like and see how it works out, to kind of give us some feedback of, this works, this doesn't. Let's keep doing this, let's not do this.
Currently, there are a couple of classes in the middle school that are not grading homework out. But I believe we have a question online, Ms. Stewart?
Yes. Someone asked, Mr. Zorn, can you talk about the requirements for the leadership course and what that might look like? Is it leadership and research, I think?
I wish I could talk more about it. It's currently in the developmental phase, but the premise of it, the idea of it is to send kids out of here with a better experience in picking up some soft skills, some communication skills, some teamwork skills, some debate skills, some public speaking skills. Being able, to graduate a senior, funny, this comes up, that knows how to shake someone's hand.
Yep.
That can present well in interviews, so they can go get jobs, so they can go, be successful in whatever they're trying to do. We'll probably incorporate a lot of our character traits into that course. But
And
like
critical thinking skills, that's one of the things that's really just as critical. My philosophy I use all the time, even with our staff, is FIO. You're like, what's that? Figure it out. Sometimes it's okay for kids to struggle. Let them struggle. Just sit there, you FIO, you'll figure it out, and that's great for them. We as parents, as our society, I don't think there's any such thing as a helicopter parent anymore. I think we have snowplow parents. We won't hover over and pick them up when it's done. Honey, we're in front of them, blowing the snow out. Like, come on, honey, and letting them. And our kids aren't able to struggle. One of the best things in the world is for our kids to struggle. Let them understand that, hey, I can still come home. I still have that safe place. It's all right if I don't know the answer. It's okay. Y'all, don't tell many people. There are things here sometimes I don't know the answer to. But guess what I have to do?
FIO.
And there's an article we share with our seniors. So solid grades, wonderful, but it's the soft skills that really will determine how successful they are in college. So that, how do you respond to failure? The resilience, the determination, the perseverance. So all of the things that we typically don't teach, but we know is essential to success.
I thank you for coming. I think, thank you for your interest in what we're doing here and, advocating for your children and things like that. If you have maybe a more personal question that you just can't leave here tonight without having it answered, Ms. Silvestri or myself will stay here a little bit, so you can come and ask us that question. But since there's a long pause between each question, I'm going to assume we're done for the evening.
Tell about when registration's coming, just so this group will know.
I can tell you that there's an 8th grade parent meeting
Next Thursday.
which is January 31st. That's why I kept saying we're going to have it ready by then. January 31st, there's an 8th grade parent meeting so that they can get a little education about about high school and the registration process. That kind of kicks it off for us. The following week, I don't have this memorized, but I know the following week, teachers will start talking to students in their classrooms about what courses they should be taking next, what they're getting recommended for, different things like that. Counselors,
Next week.
as early as next week, will go into classrooms to meet with the students, to go over the same kind of things, what their credits are and things like that. As a parent, you should be looking soon to see, they bring a sheet home that kind of has laid out their classes that they've already taken and the path they have to take and what they need to take next year, so you guys can go over that with them. And then
Access to the high school course planning guide to see
Yeah.
all the offerings.
I
Yeah.
think was it a 2-week window?
The 15th, the forms are due back.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when parents can schedule meetings with you guys, the dates on that.
Not certain,
I'm
but
gonna
they're,
go like mid-February and early March. There's like a window where, if you need to meet with the counselor, they have time for you to come in and do that. And then by the end of March, the whole thing should be complete. And then we'll go about the process of building a schedule.
So you meet with the counselor after the forms are due back? in February?
No, yes and no.
it can be before or after.
Timeline.
There'll be a sign up genius going out, so. We've already started some meetings, so if you wanted something sooner, you can email us.
Where did I send that?
Someone said down to the high school thing.
Yeah, we got
Some dates on there. So,
Yeah, so it looks like between now and February 15th is when you'll meet with counselors. We sent a Connect Ed about it.
But the sign-up sheet has not gone out yet.
It has not gone out yet, sorry.
And I think that's what we're waiting for the January 31st kickoff.
And in that, there will be lots of links to the high school course planning guide, lots of resources.
We wanted to have this
Mhm.
and have this ready, and we're still making a few updates to the course planning guide.
Mhm.
And then,
And your leadership class will not be offered for next year, because you don't have it developed yet.
correct. Yeah. If by some miracle act that happens, that'd be great. We'll include it for kids that are already ready to take it.
Well, would it be a semester long, so then it could be ready for the second semester?
Yes, the plans for that to be a semester class. Okay. Have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone online.